Hello and welcome. Denzel Rodriguez here, your personal finance geek of the 21st century. In today's video, we're going to talk about this unique formula that can help you, anyone listening, to overcome this tremendous barrier many Americans face today and have been facing for generations, which is debt. How do you remove it? How do you pay it off fast? How can you continue on your personal financial journey to financial independence, financial freedom, passive income, wealth building, generational wealth, and leaving a legacy behind for your family? Debt is that number one biggest block in a lot of people's finances. And what I want to illustrate today on my whiteboard is a way for you to become aware to the problem at hand, what you have going through. I think first step to achieving financial transformation in your life and mastery is awareness. That's step one. We need to become aware to the problem. And then we're going to incorporate strategies, education to achieve a breakthrough moment, a paradigm shift in your personal finances. Then through application, through action, through accountability and support, you then lead a life of mastery, where you're able to master your economic household. You're able to master your personal finances, help you make better decisions because of these steps that you took. So it's awareness, it's breakthrough, and then it's transformation into masterful living, living a life worth living, living your life intentionally according to the way you see money. So with that, let's take a look at this whiteboard here. Here's an example of a husband and wife. They have a lot of debts, a lot of credit cards, a lot of loans. We got a mortgage. We have lines of credits. We've got debt owed to everybody. Here are our four major numbers. This is critical for you to do. You need to know how much money is coming in net after tax each and every month. What's coming in? So in this family, we got $10,689. We have a total expense. Money, this number includes all of these debt payments, living expenses, saving, tithing, all of it right here, $7,703.95. We have a total debt amount of $163,554.73 with a cash flow of around $29,8505. So $2,900, almost $3,000 a month. We have a personal line of credit for $15,000 at 10.4% at a bank called BECU out of Washington. We got about $1,000 in savings. We have two term life policies, one on wife for $250, one on husband for $4. We've got no retirement. We're 50 and 62 years old. We don't have any money invested anywhere, not really anything worth significantly putting on the whiteboard here, so really nothing. And in order for us to really build the kind of wealth that this family ought to build for themselves and for the next generation, they're going to have to overcome this debt obstacle. Now, this is an example, giving you a little more context. This client I've been working with since 2019. So when I first met them, they had even more debt, and we paid down debt, and then we got more debt, and we paid down debt, and we got more debt. In my career so far, I've been on YouTube now for 7 years. I've been in the financial space for 7 years as a financial coach, consultant, accountability partner, support, a specialist on eliminating debt, executing the velocity banking strategy, infinite bank, and many other strategies on this YouTube channel. So in my career over the last 7 years, working with clients, all walks of life, all different ages, all different incomes, I've been able to witness unique financial transformation the moment people become debt-free, or at least experience for a period of time what it is to be debt-free, even if it's only for 6 months or 3 months. There is a transformation that absolutely occurs, and I would argue that the person that seeks that path of becoming debt-free first, before trying to explode, leverage, make more money, all this other stuff, I've seen this person actually yield better returns have more success, faster success than the people that try to cut corners, that try to eliminate some debt and then try to leverage to make an investment, leverage to make more income. Oftentimes, it just doesn't end up the way it was illustrated on a spreadsheet or on an Excel, or the way it was presented or sold to us, that specific opportunity. Most of the time, it's not the case. This family and many others I've worked with, this is an example of coming to the realization that I need to just eliminate all this debt. And I understand the age that I'm at. I understand how old I am and how little time we have to create wealth. But I'm going to make a big, bold statement and argument for no matter how old you are, if you have been someone that's been in debt bondage for many years, many decades, you've never experienced a debt-free life, and retirement's approaching, or you're already in retirement age but still working and you're carrying all this debt, I think the biggest opportunity for you is to eliminate that debt, and then your wealth would explode right afterwards in a very short period of time. That's my big, bold assumption, theory, that I would bet a ton of money on because of what I've been able to witness over the years, being in the financial space for the last 7 years now. So I feel like I have some very good context. Again, you can argue and debate me in the comments, dialogue, let me know your criticism of this. But when you look at these numbers here on the board, and this is also very helpful for you to do, is just write it all out. A lot of you have no idea how much debt you have and what you're paying in interest and how much your monthly minimum payments are. Do something just like this, whether it's on a sheet of paper or you buy an easel, you buy a whiteboard, and do it for your family. Just write it all out. Get the visual effect of what this does for you. So if you're watching this video and these aren't even your numbers, what kind of emotions are you feeling right now? Just seeing the amount of various debts and interest rates and payment. Are you like filled with stress and tons of emotions? Like, I would argue yes. So how can any educated investor make a clear decision on an opportunity if they've got this mountain of stress that they're dealing with? Because ultimately they're going to be always making a comparison on how they're going to use this wealth to pay off all this debt. When instead, how can we just take your current skills, gifts, and talents right now, spend less than what we make, pay ourselves first by eliminating debt, recovering cash on a guaranteed basis, guaranteed rate of return, to then see the opportunity for creating wealth for this family. And I would argue like that, you're going to create massive change. So the formula I want to share with you, this number right here and these numbers right here, is referring to the cash flow index formula. You might have heard of it before. If you haven't, the formula is quite simple and life-changing in my opinion, in terms of how this will reduce the temperature and stress in your household when wrestling with which debt do I pay off first and in which order, right? So you've got the most common debt elimination strategies out there: debt snowball and debt avalanche. Debt snowball ignores all these numbers over here in terms of monthly payment, interest rates, okay, and just focuses on the balance owed. Smallest to greatest, that's how you would line it up. Debt avalanche only focuses on interest. You tackle the highest interest rate first and work your way down. So 36%, that would be the first debt we go after. On this side, it would be 29% on husband's side. And then you've got cash flow index. Simply taking the balance owed on a debt, dividing it by the monthly payment, you're going to get this number right here, 16.42. So if you owe $1,642 on a debt and the monthly payment's $100, take those two numbers, divide it, you're going to get 16.42. If the number is below 50 or less, that debt you want to pay off, because that is a healthy amount of cash flow for you to recover, for you to then go deploy that into savings and investing for the future. So 50 or less. If the number is above 50, it's an unattractive debt to pay off. We want to put that on the back end. You can then make an argument for possibly never trying to accelerate that debt and rather investing instead if you can earn a higher rate of return than the cost of interest that you're paying. And so it's not taking a lot of your cash flow if the number is above 50. All right. So in this case, all their cash flow index numbers have been laid out for you. The highest numbers are 88.8 and 61.06, which is literally a line of credit and a mortgage loan. Outside of that, everything should be getting paid off extremely fast according to cash flow index. So cash flow index focuses on cash flow. How quickly can I get to the cash flow of that monthly payment? Whoever has more cash flow wins all day, every day. So in this case, I'm looking at the lowest cash flow number. And when it comes to velocity banking, which is the other popular way of getting out of debt, or increasingly becoming more popular, is factoring in all three components: the balance, the monthly payment, the interest rate. It actually factors in all of it to help us make the best decision. Now, even though their main line of credit, which is a PLOC for velocity banking, it's got a 61.06, I'm illustrating that's their minimum monthly payment. What's actually happening is we're sending our income into that line of credit, and then we're sending money out to pay all these bills and all these debt payments. Cash flow stays in here, which brings the line of credit down, increases the equity in the line of credit to then go and pay something off. So in the velocity banking world, you would be using the PLOC, so you wouldn't even factor it into your cash flow index number. PLOC's your main debt tool, and the goal is to consolidate all of this debt into your PLOC in the form of chunking. Now, here's another thing I've been able to witness over the years and just learn through experience. Velocity banking is not for everyone. Velocity banking can be a phenomenal tool in your arsenal, right? Could mean a phenomenal vehicle for you to use in your personal finance, but it can also be very destructive if not properly managed and proper expectations are met. Certain standards, certain protocols of how to use that strategy can absolutely mess you up if you don't stick to the principle. So again, this is an example. I've been working with a person for many years now, 4 or 5+ years. And my coaching guidance for them was, hey, we actually need to stop velocity banking, and we need to just simply make extra payments. We're not just going to make extra payments towards the smallest debt. We're going to focus on cash flow index to help us decide which debt to go first, in which order, and go from there. We'll use that as our guide to help us. We can make changes along the way. Use that as a guide. We're going to give velocity banking a break. It took us a long way. It's made tremendous progress, but it's also given us permission somehow to spend more than what we make in certain seasons of life. And I've been able to identify this with certain clients, and some of you watching may also be doing this, not even noticing. You may feel like you're under this illusion, like you've got more money just because you have a HELOC or line of credit, and something comes up, oh, I'll just run it through the HELOC and then velocity banking that. And what ends up happening, 6 months goes by, a year goes by, you're not making any progress. Your overall debt balance is not going down. So you didn't learn much. You learned how to perpetuate your bad habits and using velocity banking as an excuse as to why you couldn't get to where you want to get to. I know that might hurt for some people listening. But the reality is that if we don't become aware of the problem, then it doesn't matter what strategy you're incorporating because you haven't removed the root issue. So in this case, what's the root issue? The root issue that you can just tell over the years is that they're continuously spending, and not just spending cash that they have, but they continuously spend debt capital and then use their income and expense. They try to, stay under it to cover all these payments. So my thing has been over the last year working with them, I said, look, we need to wean ourselves off of using credit cards, even though there's cashback rewards and benefits and all these things like that. We need to literally just cold turkey stop, wean ourselves off of this. Let's use cash flow index as our strategy, our awareness, putting it all on the board, having the visual, and then committing to just paying off debt, even though we're so close to being retired with no retirement. I'm still suggesting pay your debts off, because you're going to get a guaranteed rate of return, guaranteed cash flow, which arguably, if we were to remove all of this, guess what? As you're working full-time, this husband and wife working full-time, as they get closer and closer to retiring, by removing debt over the next few years, are we going to be able to fully retire and not work at all? No, but we're going to be able to work far less than what we have to today, because of our lifestyle expenses are significantly less, which then gives us permission to transition out of that have-to job and transition into something that you actually want to do with your remaining years on this planet. So I don't follow the traditional retirement strategy of accumulate enough money to live off of, and then you sit on the couch, watch TV all day, take a vacation, see the kids 2 times a year. I don't buy that. I buy the retirement strategy that says, this is what I did in my career or business, and now in retirement, I'm transitioning into a philanthropic contribution kind of a role. I'm going to be on a board of a company. I'm going to work a nonprofit. I'm going to volunteer full-time ministry, because that's what my purpose is for the rest of my days here on this planet. That's what I'm going to be doing with my time, staying social, staying active, increasing longevity, being happy. And yes, from time to time, watch TV, watch a movie, take a vacation, hang out with the kids. Yes, do all those wonderful side activities. But your day-to-day, every other Monday, your every other Tuesday, your every other Wednesday is filled with joy, because you are operating out of abundance and you are operating in your skills, your gifts, your talents according to your purpose. So you're living a rich life, not because you have a certain amount of money built up, but because you're doing the thing you actually enjoy to do, which is why you get up in the morning every day, right? And you're able to sleep peacefully. So that's the kind of retirement that I buy into, that I encourage my clients to adopt as well. Because then this frees up the second part of the stress factor, is once you pay off all this debt, now what do we do with all this extra cash flow? Yes, there's going to be investing. Yes, there's going to be saving, but also, why are you here on this planet? If you're 67 years old and you got another 30 years to go or more, what are you going to do with that time? Sit on the couch, watch TV all day, see the kids a couple times a week, take a vacation here or there? Trust me, you're going to get bored out of your life if you're not doing something that's bringing joy and fulfillment into your life. I absolutely guarantee that. So coming to the formula again, balance owed divided by the monthly payment. Here are your cash flow index scores. We can see how this debt right here got a 5. We've got 8.75, 9.9, 9.92. These are the most attractive debts that we want to pay off in that specific order. Now, as much as I would personally follow this cash flow index formula, or even do velocity banking on top of cash flow index, as great as that sounds, the other aspect you have to keep in mind is the person. What's the biggest stress that's on them right now? And for them, it's credit cards. So the wife just really, really wants to pay off her credit card. So I said, okay, we could skip this loan for now, and we'll go this credit card first. It's got the 8.75, to then go to that credit card, number 2, then 3, 12, then 4, then 5, in that specific order. And it's not gonna take a long time. If I've got $2,900 in cash flow, and you add up these 5 credit cards, these 5-6 credit cards, I mean, what are we talking? 2 months, if that? So over the next 2 months, if I can just get rid of the credit cards that they have, and her HELOC. Her HELOC is a second line of credit that she has. The husband has the $15,000 one. She's got a PLOC, but it's got a much smaller credit line. It's only $2,500. So I'm like, I threw that in with the credit card. So if we can just get rid of those, and then you commit, you say, I'm just gonna stop using the credit cards altogether. We're gonna come over to a cash-based system. So we're actually abandoning velocity. We're abandoning, leveraging and all that, points, hacking. As wonderful as it is, got to understand the context of the person you're working with. So this is also great tips for anyone that is aspiring to be a financial coach or consultant or strategist when working with people and serving them. You don't want to be a one-trick pony and only provide velocity banking. You want to incorporate these other debt elimination strategies. Cash flow index is great because it at least gives us that guidance where it's like, hey, this is the mathematical fastest way from a cash flow perspective. You have more cash flow, you pay off debt faster, period. Whoever has more cash flow wins. Then you factor in the emotional part and say, okay, well, we can exclude a certain debt that's not a credit card and do cash flow index in the order of which cards need to be paid off in the fastest way. So again, 2 months, gone. Then literally month 3, this is gone. Then you go to the loan, this little loan right here, gone, part of month 3. Month 4, you're coming over here. So this loan at the bottom, month 4, the next loan for 81.88. Obviously it'll be lesser 3-4 months from now. And that'll take you like 2.5 months, if that, to knock off. And then we're left with this final loan. It's got 172 cash flow index. So we're actually going to ignore that because we're going to want to come over here to husband's debts and then start to attack his credit cards. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 credit card, all at higher cash flow indexes, but still worthy to recapture. Now, depending on how this goes with the client, we may slowly bring back velocity banking on husband's debt, just depends. But I'm perfectly fine with saying, hey, we're just gonna pay off the PLOC in cash flow index order. So being that it's at a 61, we'll leave that alone. It's at 10.4 interest rate, $180 monthly payment, and we'll direct our attention cash flow index paying down these credit cards. So you had a 16, 16.3, 18, right? Almost kind of in perfect order here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, say 7, 8, 9. All right, so we can write that out. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. You could say, they're so close, 26.5, 26.38. So it almost doesn't matter. But 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the order in which we pay these credit cards off. By then, we're cash flowing that 29 plus all of these payments, except for that loan. We leave it alone. We got 353, 113, 242, 38, 40, 26. Add all that up. It's another grand, roughly, probably more. So 3, 4, 6, 7, yeah, nearly $1,000 in cash flow on top of the 29 I already have, which means once we get over to debts, husband's debts, we're going to be able to go even faster. And the goal is remove credit cards, stop using them, give yourself that reset. Many of us need a reset in our finances, especially with credit cards. Give yourself that period of cleansing where you simply don't use them. Develop that discipline that I don't need this. See, the people that do velocity banking the best, from what I've seen, are those that don't feel like they need velocity banking. The reason why I do velocity banking so well in my personal finances and some of my clients do so well with velocity banking, they get great performance, great results, and others watching that maybe don't work with me one-to-one, but you're just a fan of the channel or you work with another velocity banking coach or specialist, I want to say the number one reason why they're so successful is because they just look at it as a tool. They're not relying, they're not dependent on velocity banking to succeed. Like if for whatever reason, if their line of credit got shut tomorrow, they're not going to freak out. They know exactly what their next steps are. and they can easily just transition back to extra payments. No issue, because they have money set aside outside of velocity banking. They have additional protections. They know how to leverage credit cards. They know how to just, again, look at these things like tools and resources. They're not dependent on it. So that's the way I like to teach you all, is to acquire the knowledge of velocity banking, cash flow index, debt snowball, debt avalanche, personal financial stewardship. I want you to acquire the knowledge, apply the action, develop the disciplines, develop that foundation strong enough, and then we work together one-to-one and we figure out what works best for you. So with that being said, I leave you with an action step coming off this video today. You learned about the formula of cash flow index and how it applies into a real scenario and things to be aware of, and how you lay it all out and just see it for yourself. Awareness, breakthrough, transformation in your finances. The action step I have for you is keep watching case study videos like this. And if you want to take it to the next step, you can reach out to me below. You can jump on a phone call with me. We can run your numbers on the whiteboard. We can, you join my one-to-one coaching program and literally go on a lifelong journey together. That's the way I set up my coaching. Is meant for me to, I want to be with you for the entire duration of you getting out of debt, not just for a period of time. Although I do work with some people for just a period of time, and that's all they need, and you're good to go. But those that get the greatest results, in my experience, are those that are like, let's go Denzel, let's go all in, let's make this happen. So whether if it's not with me and you use someone else, think of it long term. Think of coaching like as literally part of your financial structure. It's the way you continue to get better and better. That's how every athlete gets better and better. They never not have a coach. They have a coach in the off season, they have a coach in season, they have a coach in the finals, they have a coach after they've won, and after they won again, and after they've won again, they still have a coach. So think of financial coaching not just when you need it and when you're struggling financially, but think of coaching as a way for you to continue to get better and better and better and better and better. Mastermind, brainstorm ideas. So again, if it's not with me and someone else, think of it long term. How do I actually keep this person on my lifestyle expenses? Just like when it comes to taxes, you always have an accountant, you always have, bookkeeper. How do you look at financial coaching in that way? Keeping them on your team, on your, what I like to call your financial dream team, with you for your whole life. And I'll argue your results will be phenomenal. You'll achieve financial freedom, independence. You'll live a rich, abundant, fulfilled life. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.